you?
Well, I haven't been too good, but I hadn't been too bad either, according to my wife. So.
Oh, well, that's actually a good thing. Hey, Whit. Hey, Denise.
I'm on the call with Callista.
Hey, Callista.
Hi, Callista.
How are you?
Hello.
Good. I just joined too. This is Gloria.
Hey, Gloria. I'm looking
Gloria.
at the phone numbers like, who is that? Okay. I'm up to my eyeballs and resumes.
Ben is our tech guru, and if you see, that's Gussie with Ben. So he's the one that's going to be putting it on YouTube, so that way it can go. So once.
I'd like to ask a question from the board members who are present. How many people have gotten the vaccine?
I did.
I have not.
Well, since you're all answered at once, that didn't help me out. So.
Okay. This is Gloria. I got it because we're the primary caregiver of my 90-year-old mother-in-law, and I got it Monday, and I'm just now feeling enough to sit up.
I'll get it as soon as it's offered. And I had COVID over the Christmas break, and Gloria, it took me 10 days to sit up. So I will get it as soon as it's offered for 1B, which is what teachers are.
Yeah, I've had family members that have had it, and it is not fun. But yeah, the vaccine, I was surprised because my parents and my mother-in-law got it, had no reaction whatsoever. And then my arm, I thought it was going to fall off, and my lymph node under that arm swelled up to the size of a baseball, and other things, fever last night of 101 and everything else. But today I'm feeling better this afternoon. So,
Gosh, so glad you're feeling better.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have had one test after another. I've not been able to get the vaccine yet. And unfortunately, in my much larger blended family here, we had our first death due to COVID. So we are.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. My
Sorry.
son's other grandmother, actually other grandfather just passed. They had to put him in a medical induced coma because his systems just started to shut down. So we're just like, okay. Right. And he's all the way in Texas. So, right.
Yeah, we've had a lot of extended family, elderly and middle-aged. It's been amazing who's been impacted by this.
So to let everybody know, Ben said that we are live now. So if you want
It's
to.
5:30, so let's call it to order. Welcome, everybody. We appreciate y'all being here. I know the last time we had a virtual meeting, it didn't quite go as planned, but I think we're good today. So I didn't really have any comments, I don't think. Jerry and I have been having conversations left and right here, and we had a couple of really, really good meetings and email exchanges. So I think that we can move forward with the approval of the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I got 3.
I'm abstaining. I wasn't in attendance
You
at the
weren't
last
here.
meeting. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're still muted. Did you want to say,
Who's that?
Denise? Yeah.
Sorry. I thought, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I muted, then I went back because the dog was barking. Okay.
Oh, 2021.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right. Minutes are approved. Library reports.
Okay. We didn't have a whole lot, just wanted to point out that we are going to be down another part-time staff member at the Brunswick Library. So, and it's still a hiring freeze. But we'll just keep going until we can't. But otherwise, did y'all have any questions about the library report for this month?
I did wonder though, when I saw that, how badly will that affect, are people going to have to work overtime? How is that going to work out?
So right now, what we've done is the Brunswick Library staff have switched their schedules around. So our part-timers, both at Brunswick and St. Simon's, work the weekends and night shift. And so we'll just have to have some of the full-time staff be able to pick up more weekend and nighttime shifts. So for right now, kind of like St. Simon's, how they're adapting, Brunswick will continue to adapt at this time.
Gotcha.
Jerry, could you give a brief summary of where things stand on the digital vendor switch and the use of the app to access materials? And the other thing is on everything. And the other question I've got is just some information about the Pines upgrade.
Sure. Okay, so the switch is now complete. We had one last, so we did the audiobooks and ebooks a couple months ago, and we've actually gotten really good response from that. It's been really nice. But the magazines, we weren't able to fully integrate them just yet. And so we've been able to do that as of February 1st. So now the RB Digital app will no longer be needed at all. So it'll be Overdrive only. Or Libby is what they call the Overdrive app. And then you wanted to ask about, do you have any other questions on that?
No, I was just curious about how it went and what the response has been.
So as of now, it actually wasn't too terribly bad. The good news is that Overdrive or the Libby app is really easy to use. So Tashana's saying no, it's not.
I think I just need to get used to it. But
especially when you're so used to RB Digital, so
right.
You're used to it one way and then it switches. But the so far we have not gotten that many complaints on it. It's just been more what Tashana's talking about is getting used to the different look and the different feel and the different notifications too. So one thing that we did just find out though was that Overdrive, it's not Overdrive, it is coming from Amazon, that the oldest version of Kindle Fire is not working to get a new app. I'm not sure how that's going to get resolved, but I'm sure it will all be. Overdrive is Overdrive would be the Mercedes-Benz of library platforms for digital services, so it's really, really good. There's a lot more offerings, and it is more than what we could have in the past. It's just, it typically is more expensive, but because we are part of that consortium with pretty much the entire state of Georgia, we're able to really reduce our cost. So even for next fiscal year, there will be no increase for us, even with the magazines and all that. It will be about the same, and then we'll be able to use any additional funds for additional purchases, which we've done in the past. But it'll be, I think what will be more interesting is to find out after a full year of it where everybody thinks. And we have locked ourselves in for 2 years. So,
is there any kind of tutorial? I'm sorry, go ahead. Is there any kind of tutorial for patrons for the app?
Yes.
For the use of the app?
Yes. There is stuff on Libby itself. There are opportunities on Overdrive. And then I believe we may even have some stuff in, if we don't have it, that we can find it on our website. We have a tutorial stuff that should slide on. If that's not there, I need to double check on that. But that we use another service through the state to help us with. So there are multiple ways of niche. Thank you. Yes, Niche Academy is what handles that little like slide over to help tutorial on our actual website.
Are we using the website enough to disseminate information like this?
So we are. It's just so here's what I feel that we're missing, not necessarily our website. Of course, our website it's going to be, that's something in this next strategic plan is to kind of work towards what's the next website going to look like, because it's going to be 10 years old before we know it, and a lot of just the layouts change and making things more mobile friendly. But we have the information on the website. What we're missing is the marketing piece to push more people to the website. Which I think that's something that I know that's will be part of the next strategic plan. I know that Ben's just completed an application for a marketing grant with the state library, and then we'll be trying for some other ideas of like creating a true marketing plan for us. So
what will the grant cover?
How much would that grant be?
I think the grant's only just a shade over $1,000, like $1,400 or $1,500.
So realistically, what could that cover for us?
Realistically, all that's going to cover is more tchotchkes than necessarily like actual, like it's not going to get us a billboard, if that makes sense. Like this is so this particular grant is trying to find alternate ways of utilizing resources. So for example, a library system that got it last year used it to help them with a social media campaign that was specifically targeted to increase social media traffic and a couple other things. But they used that funding to buy, I think it was coffee cups. And like they had this like whole thing of like having like that a patron would do this and it would bring traffic, and then it would also, they would get something in return that then turned into another marketing piece for the library. So, but what we really need, I feel like, and that's kind of with that marketing plan thing with the strategic plan, or part of it, is to try and outline what it is we need to do every year, plus also what is it that we need to, where is it that we need to start allocating funds to? What's the best resource for our dollar? Because, a lot of people don't necessarily want your tax dollars to pay for a billboard. Right. But if it goes with the whole campaign, maybe that's something that, as Gloria always says, like tie it in with your resource guide and, find those grants that you can use, like a library card campaign, that the grant pays for this, but it also pays primarily for some marketing.
So there's no cost to utilize most of the social media platforms that are available, and we do have those pages. So
Yes.
would it be too difficult to assign one of the staff members that's got to work late now because we're losing a part-time person to do social media pushes?
So actually, that's something that Ben and so the managers, Ben and myself and Deanna, the programming coordinator, we all have access to the social media pages.
Mm-hmm.
So what Ben does is goes ahead and puts in, and Deanna, like the pre-scheduled stuff. But so yes, all that is free. What's not free is the boost. And the boost is usually how you circumvent some of the algorithms. So to be able to offer that kind of stuff is a little different, but it's something where, like, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think of, like, I guess it's just turning this into what is our best product and how is it that we should get that across. And then but I really do feel like having that plan will help to take us in the direction and know that we're following it and we're not getting off left field. And then also allow us to designate staff time, because it can get really taxing of, like, because we do actually, our social media accounts, the messaging system is awesome, but we get a lot of after hours messaging of people needing help and wanting to know, like, hey, I saw this program, when can I pick up my take-home craft stuff? My book is late, you know, all these different things. And so staff are still answering those as best that we can. But for right now, all the staff that have those accounts are also exempt staff, so that we're not running into any of those issues. But so I think before we start, like, this grant is a great little way of, you know, continuing the effort, but I do feel like we really need to kind of come up with, I know Ben and his staff are working on a calendar to be able to know, like, throughout the year, what is everything that we should be hitting? How many times should we be hitting things? And then also within that calendar, we can then know we can pull grant money or requests for stuff of being like, okay, it would be really nice to be able to have, you know, for this program, maybe we can allocate X amount of dollars to pay for a Fendig board for the day, or to, you know, pay for that Facebook boost or what have you, or even pay for an advertisement. Thankfully, our papers have been really good to us and do a lot of free publicity for us, but I don't know.
Is there a library system that you've seen that's done this successfully, like a larger or bigger scale?
Yes. There are a lot of very successful projects that have been done. Most of it, though, is done by large systems that have, like, a marketing team.
Okay.
So that's, I think, what is it that we know we're not going to have more staff, but what is it that we can do that will still allow us to have this coverage, but not necessarily overwork staff?
Do you feel a marketing team is going to be a necessity in the future?
I would rather, any staff we get, I would rather go and put them towards working the desk or doing more programs and really, I mean, doing more library work. What would be nice is if there's a way of having, like, contracting out for this.
Right. Okay.
Like, that part would be, if we could figure that out and figure out how to handle that cost and what that would look like and who would actually, I'm sure there's bound to be some firms that would handle nonprofit type work.
I wonder if there's some already in the county.
So the county has their PI or their public information officer that handles all the press releases and everything like that. But each department is it's up to them and how they want to handle it to do marketing. Because I mean, most people are like, why are you marketing a government? Like, but in the end, that's what you've got to do, I mean, like I always think back to that story of, what was it? The country Columbia, that they ended their like years long guerrilla wars by a marketing campaign. So, I mean, it was like, there's just that little bit. So, but again, before we dive into anything too much, I really want us, like, that last strategic plan was so instrumental in helping us stay on task and not, because me, I'll be like, left field, which way? This way. So I do feel like if we can get this down on paper using best practices from other library systems, and then also seeing what's out there, then it can really help us fine tune what it is that the staff is already doing a great job at, but it's just that next little tweak.
While we're on that question, let me observe, if I might, and somebody can just tell me where I'm wrong. But it seems like, as in most things we discuss, the ability to embark on these new directions is not exclusively, but very often largely a function of available funds. And I don't think any of us are terribly optimistic about the loosening of the purse strings by the county. I know I'm not. Jerry, you may be, but I'm not. And so, Gloria, I would ask you if the strategic plan couldn't devote a good deal of focus on how the library can develop some regular, dependable sources of money to fund these other activities that will augment and further the strategic plan.
So you're saying, once we finish developing the plan, then come up basically with a resource section, the implementation section that would include potential funding sources. Yeah, we could add that.
Well, a little more. I mean, I think potential funding sources are great, but I think there's got to be a definite plan to raise money certain ways every year. Understanding the ways can change, but I think we have to get creative about it. I've just had an idea that I'm going to follow up with somebody before I report to Jerry on it, but there may be some team marketing that can be done in other capacities, whereby nonprofits can market together because they have complementary services or complementary interests. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I just think that a big part of the strategic plan needs to focus on this, because while we all have wonderful ideas and we'd love to see the library be able to do all of them, in the end, it depends on resources and funding.
I don't know if y'all are familiar with the hand-to-hand project, the little funny homes going in downtown, but Lena, I think her company's name is Mark of the Buffalo, and she did their marketing plan and I think helped them out as a nonprofit. She's somebody that I would look into for some advice regarding a plan. Her husband owns Del Sur.
Yes, I have actually worked with Lena on some other projects.
Well, you would know if it would be a good fit or not, but I was just impressed with what she did with the hand-to-hand project.
Yes, her work is definitely beautiful.
Do you think that you could benefit from use of an intern or two? Whether or not it's a marketing intern, one for public administration, whatever.
We'll take anybody. Yes. Does college have some people?
Oh yeah. We can just have you post to the job board that we're in need of an intern. And I'll get with you about that tomorrow. Let me write myself a note.
That's a good. That's a really good idea, Shauna. Really good idea.
And I'm just thinking that person, if they were available during hours when we have children's programming, they could do like an Instagram video or live and that kind of stuff during that period of time. And a lot of them, those students seem to be particularly savvy with social media. So I think that would give us a great boost.
Yeah.
And definitely give them some additional experience as well. So that could be a permanent type placement.
Oh, yeah.
Rather ironic is that those who are most facile with social media are the least inclined to read. Just an observation from out here in the world. Jerry, how are we doing on Chromebooks?
We're good. We still got we actually still have a large amount of them, and then we use them.
I didn't hear the question. I heard how are we doing on, and we have a lot, but I didn't hear the question. Loud. The three boys. Sorry.
It was Chromebooks. How are we doing on Chromebooks? And so we're doing good. We have a large number of them still. And that's, at both libraries, we use them for additional public computers besides the large ones or the regular PCs. And so as of right now, we're good. But, of course, we'll always take more, but our preference, what we have more problems finding funding for are traditional computers since they're so much more expensive.
Yeah. Have we done any grant exploration for those acquisitions?
Not this year. So we have done them in the past, and then we've gotten lucky with our state grant for technology the last couple years, but unfortunately it has continued to go down. So for this, other ways that we have gotten computers is through like programming grants, and we've tied them in. And then after the grant or after the program is finished, those computers then go back into needs for programming or for additional computers, but mostly like the programming stuff. Like last year we had that big, or last fiscal year. No, it wasn't last fiscal year. It was last calendar year. My brain. We had the census. And so we were able to get these great actual laptops through census grant funding. And that came down through the state library. And those laptops are now going to be used for programming. But they actually ended up helping out Glenn County, including Ben and myself, to become computers to use during lockdown. And now they're back to, all except for two are back to programming computers. So when we're allowed to do, or when we're able to do computer classes again for our senior citizens, that's what we'll use those. So one thing I did want to point out too was that if you'll take a look at those stats, because Ben's added a couple extra stat categories in the programs that are virtual. So we aren't actually able to put our annual report that's due to the federal government. We are not able to put our virtual programs as a traditional program. We have to switch them to, we are able to add them now to our federal annual report so that they're counted, but they're just not counted as a traditional program. So prior to this month, we were still collecting those, but you guys weren't seeing them in your regular stats. So that's something where we're trying to make sure that this is shown, because when you look at just those graphs, it's kind of like, whoa, like circulation is back up to normal. Computers are still at 50%, but we only have 50% of the computers out. But programming looked like we weren't doing anything. So I wanted to make sure y'all could see that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or discussion? Did we have any committee reports?
I've just got a quick update on the strategic plan. For those on the committee, I'm still updating the community data section, and we'll have that to y'all next. And Jerry, I'm going to give you a call later this week on some other information I need to complete another section. And hopefully we'll get those 2 draft sections to the committee in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I think we've done the first 4 sections already, the committee has reviewed. So those are pretty much final.
Jerry, do we currently have any open seats on the board?
We have one. We have a mainland planning. It was mainland planning, listen to me. Mainland, it was Jane's position. So it is still open until filled. And then it would just be though till through June 30th. So in July 1, yeah. It might because we're really off on Jane's position or her position now. So it might actually extend further beyond, but because our next couple of positions will be at large and island seats that will be opening July 1.
You got somebody in mind, Mike?
I'm sorry?
Do you have somebody in mind?
Well, I do. I meant to talk to her during January about it, but I just didn't get around to it. I will try to broach the subject with her later this month, the first part of March, okay?
Okay.
And I'll send out to you guys again the where everybody is in terms for the board. So then that way y'all can know what's coming up. Okay. Oh, I think we just lost Callista. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Any other?
She said to continue on.
Oh, okay. Any other committee reports? Jerry, why do I feel like we're missing something? Did we miss anything?
I think so. But just that, no, because we haven't had any bylaws or all that stuff is taken care of. So there's no policies. It was just strategic plans, the only thing. And then remember we used to have an actual finance committee, but that got kind kind of manipulated out into when we redid the bylaws.
Okay. All right. We can move on. There was no old business to discuss. New business.
So
budget update.
Yes. So we had our meeting with Glenn County, and for our FY22 budget.
Here, and please, and let everybody know that Jerry did a fantastic job as usual of representing us. They hardly had any questions, and the questions that they did have, we were ready. So she made sure to get in there that we did need the part-time positions as well. So it's a wait and see.
I would like to say, Jerry, that at every opportunity, you need to remind them and keep reminding them that the renovation came in under budget.
Yes. Yes.
Don't ever let them forget it.
That it's like, well, hello. there is no asking for extra money on that one.
No.
But it did go very well. Of course, we won't know and then COVID throws everything off of, what actually will happen with travel. If you remember, we asked for our travel to come back. But we'll have to see how the county budgets that and if it's something that's even possible to do. As Shoshana said, the 2 part-time positions for Brunswick Library that we asked for actually got the most reception that we've got in a while for position requests. But again, who knows? And then
what does that mean? What does that mean? They got the most reception.
So it was the most. Typically, what happens is there is they just say, great job, but we're not hiring any new positions. This time around, they were much more asking about a lot of questions and details that they typically do not answer or ask for. So,
I just wondered, have they said when the hiring freeze will be lifted? Do they not know because of all the,
So they can't say, but it's probably the only thing that we do know is it will go through July. So there is no plans to lift the hiring freeze in this fiscal year. I'm not sure if it will continue next fiscal year. I think that's probably that, whole thing of trying to figure out. I know that the counties, Mr. Hours and the county would like to bring, employees are very important. And so they would like to bring back, they would like to stop the freeze. They would like to bring back merit increases. They would like to bring back career tracking. So it's just, is there money to do it? One thing that is I will say our revenue was not so pretty. As you can imagine, we haven't really been making a lot of money, but they were not surprised, and it was not something that they did lower, are lowering it just a little bit from the previous fiscal year. But but overall, it was, there was nothing that was, there was nothing hit over the head. Something that I would like to say, though, is they did ask for me to send a capital request of what it would cost to complete the St. Simon's furniture plan. which is really helpful. And it was one level was accepted to call it capital, even though it's not capital. So doesn't mean that we're going to get it, but it does mean that that does open us up to a better chance of getting those couple of tables and chairs that we were, and storage solutions that we were not able to get. So, and on the state funding side, we have some interesting news because the legislators decided to amend the FY21 budget that we're currently in by giving us 40 cents per capita for books instead of the 35 cents. So it's passed the Senate and it's back in the House. So we'll find out, but they won't start on the FY22 budget request until probably the end of this month. And so, but my guess is that if this 40 cents goes through for FY21, it means it'll go through for FY22. So we could have a little bit extra every 5 cents counts.
It does.
Approximately, how much does that translate into?
So 35. You know what? Let me do the math real fast. Hold on, as I can tell you, general number of. Let's see.
Hi, what are you doing? Did you see the lizard?
Extra $4,000. So that's good. We get right now we get almost $31,000. So that would definitely, I mean, put us at 35. That's great.
Yeah.
So I guess for the budget.
I'll ask this question. I'll ask this question off the record. It wouldn't look too good.
Okay.
Well, we should know more. We'll know more from the state probably by the end of this month where everything lies. And then from Glenn County, it's usually not until the spring. So around April is when we get a better idea. So
now you're curious.
So yes. So do y'all have any questions on the budget? Did I miss anything, Tashana?
No, I don't think so. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, we did not need an executive session. So our next meeting will be held on March the 3rd at the Brunswick Library. In person is what we are planning on, but we can amend that if necessary. I think, Jerry, we probably will want to keep a virtual option open just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. So,
no, you don't.
2021. So,
yes.
But again, really, really good job. I'm so pleased with how the budget meeting went. I wish that there were additional funds for a part-time person. I think he wanted to tell you, yeah, at that point, but. So, all right. If nobody else has anything, then we are adjourned.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Jerry, I'll call you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Y'all, I have not been to a meeting, but this made me so happy to see people. Like, see people. I have all the germs on me because I'm at the school with the little babies and I don't want to spread them. So I miss y'all.
Yeah, we miss seeing you too. Thank you for everything that you do for our kids. Yeah. All right, so we'll see you all next month.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.